Their goal is to bring you a podcast that sounds more like everyone else
What are we talking about again?
than anyone else.
We need to accept the fact that we are like every other podcast.
Yeah, we want to be special, but we're not quite there yet.
It's the Zennial Odyssey podcast with Remy and Bobby Rox.
So I saw you look out the door. So for anyone who's wondering, we're recording in a dining room right now. We were at my mom's house. There's a French door here, and it leads out to the pool. And I think Remy is longingly looking at that. People out, my sister and my niece, and I think one or two of her friends out there having fun. And it's like, mother.
Well, because last time I came, it wasn't set up.
Oh, the pool wasn't open.
Yeah, so it was like I came today, and like, thing about New England guys where we live is it'll be 40, then it'll be 100. And there will be no warning. So it like suddenly got hot here.
Sometimes it happens in 8 hours in one day.
Yeah, it really does. It can go from like 30 to 90. So yeah, today was the first day. Even before I came in here, I was outside taking pictures with the pool because it just looks so nice. But yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunities. But yeah, he notices that I keep, because I'm a sweaty dude.
Well, I mean, I sweat because of breathing, but that's just because I'm fat. But
me and Bob are in like a sunroom right now. And so it's like, we're doing hot yoga.
Well, you know what's funny is this was actually the original bedroom for my brother and I.
Oh, really?
This room, yep.
So you could just go right out?
Oh, no.
They weren't allowing that.
No, what I mean is like my parents added onto the house. Originally, the original deck stopped just on the other side of the wall right there. And then over time, they extended it to the pool deck. As they added a second floor onto the house.
Nice.
And then they turned this into a dining room. They put in the French doors. Yeah. So this house has gone through many
iterations.
Yeah, many iterations. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over time too. It was never like things done at once. The first thing was the pool in my life. First thing was the pool. It had its own standalone deck. You couldn't walk straight across to it. And then they added stairs to the original deck.
Nice.
So you walk down the stairs and you walk up the other stairs. And then they extended this deck and then got rid of the stairs. And then they added in things like this. When they changed the windows, they added in the French door.
One thing I want to ask you about, the water slide that goes from the second window and corkscrews through the kitchen. How long has that been here?
That has been there since I moved back into this house when I was in grad school.
Yeah, because you said you put all the money into that slide, right?
Yes. All the money I got from our job, which paid us out if we didn't use our vacation time.
Yeah.
I was just like, water slide.
Yeah, no, that was a smart move. But yeah, summer. All right, let's just do summer. Let's do summer talk. I feel like there's been this dialogue lately. It's like, what is it? Hot girl summer. I keep seeing that on TikTok and Instagram, and it's like, what that means. All right, I'll give you guys what I think that means.
Okay, good, because I don't know what it means because I'm not on TikTok.
I think I'm only because I have to be, but I think it means like be hot and single and do sex with whoever you want to do sex with consensually. That's what I think it means. So I have to wonder if hot girl summer means for me, it's going to be wet dick summer. Sorry.
What's there to be sorry about?
Nah, because my dick's wet right now. I just didn't know if you saw it.
Oh, well,
I'm dripping.
I thought that was just because it's an unventilated room and we're all fat and sweaty.
It's semen though, which I can't really explain. But
what are they seeing?
Hey! There it is. Yes. But I feel like, okay, so this kind of parlays into like the modern world. I don't think people are dating anymore. I don't think young people are really dating anymore. And this isn't me just being an old guy who's out of touch. Like, I'm friends with people of all demographics. And I think women have slowly realized that they might be happier and be able to do a little better if they focus on themselves.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because this next story I'm going to tell was in one of my classes in grad school. For people who don't understand what grad school is, that's you're getting your master's degree.
That's the real shit.
Or you're getting a doctorate degree, depending. And the way it works in college, especially, is that whatever level you're teaching to, you have to have a level above that. And what I mean is, if you're going for your bachelor's degree, your teacher or professor has to have a master's degree. Mm-hmm. And if you're going for a master's, your professor or teacher has to have a doctorate degree. Yeah. So I'm in this class. It's after class, and we're all adults, so we all work during the day. Grad school classes start at like 4 o'clock at night. There are classes that can start at 7 o'clock at night. You meet once a week, and they're like usually 3 hours. So we're at the end of the class before we're all taken off. And my professor, who was fantastic, she moved here to go to when she was doing her postdoctoral
Because
work.
it had opportunity.
Yep. And she talks about being a single woman, and she said there were dick pics came up in the conversation, and she said, like, you would be surprised how many 40 and 50-year-old men are sending me dick pics.
Yeah, see,
Like,
but I can't, like, for me, first of all, I don't get that. If she, now, is she saying that they're unsolicited? Because if they're unsolicited, that's fucking gross.
I think it's,
or is she saying it's just open and like,
I think she's saying it's open. Sometimes it's unsolicited, but she was presenting it like,
I'm dating and guys are just showing me the goods.
Yeah.
That's totally cool. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's your thing, that's fine, you know?
but her point was, it's not just a young person's game. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, no, and that's, I think, the world, and I think, too, honestly, we talked about this a bit, but in the wake of the Amber Heard trial, I think that a lot of people are going to be a little bit less eager to get into relationships quickly. I really do. And I think that if people can meet their needs casually, then why do they need to do it otherwise? Now, if people still want a couple, like, I have no problem. If I met somebody great and she stole my fucking heart, I'd couple off. But I think that the society in general is sort of moving away from that. I think that is what Hot Girl Summer sort of means too, is do you, girl.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know? Yeah, and you know, me and Bob live in a place like, this isn't vacation centric where we live, but New England is. Cape Cod, and there's lots of places. Like when I used to live down the Cape, it was nice because every summer you had a crew of women that were coming up for the summer. Yeah, and they were getting...
There's Cape Cod, there's Portland, Maine, there's
New Hampshire.
There's Old Orchard Beach in Maine, or as my cousins who live in Maine say, it's the Jersey Shore of Maine. But instead of people coming from Jersey, people come from Quebec.
Yeah,
down there.
French women too. Good God.
Oh yeah, you have the White Mountains, the Green Mountains,
the Purple Mountains.
Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't that a D12 song?
You have Newport, Rhode Island, and just
the
just Block Island.
Rhode Island, Tiverton. You have Little Compton, which sounds like a tiny gangster place, but it's one of the most beautiful drives you can have.
Yep.
Well, summer's interesting though, because like, you know, it's not what it was when me and Bob were younger. Like all it means now is we're going to be working and sweaty.
Yep.
When you're younger, it meant, I got 3 months to just like
do nothing,
be chaotic neutral, you know,
get it all out of my system, everything I've been saving up and repressing.
Yeah, and it's such a different time for adults because it's like, oh, cool, I'll be doing all the exhausting stuff I do. It'll just be 95. But I think I want to be a little bit hedonistic this summer. Because how many more years can I be?
Go on.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, for me, as long as I'm doing what I need to do, working and holding shit down, I mean, there's no reason why, if everybody's just boffing, there's no reason why I can't just boff.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that things that have changed that are really, really good are the consent thing it's good. It's good that two adults can be like, yo, you want to fuck. Like, you couldn't do that in the 80s and 90s. It was taboo. You couldn't be like, yo, you want to just fucking hook up. But like, I think the fact that
Sade in the 80s,
right?
It was all about romance. And the song in my head was "Sweetest Taboo." I mean, because it's a great song.
What about Ordinary Love?
Oh, that's a good one.
I gave you all the love I have. But yeah, it was so different. Like when we were coming up and it was summertime, it was like, for me, I always dated because I'm sorry, but like that was a surefire way to get ass. It was. And I love the girls that I dated. I've had a lot of relationships and shit.
So what Remy's saying is he was trying to recreate Summer Loving from Greece.
Summer Loving. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because I think that people are more open with each other, and I think that adults have become more honest. And I think that that's good because you would have situations where guys are hanging out with girls. The girls think they're friends, but the guys are trying to work towards something.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's a dialogue.
Motives.
Yeah, and now there's just a dialogue between people where it's like, listen, I'm not trying to be serious, but I can probably get you off a couple times if you're interested, you know? And I think that, you know, if everybody just kind of fucks this summer and now I'm not telling listen, if you're in a relationship and you're like, cool, that's awesome. Like I thought I was in one a few months ago too that just like dissented. So I would have had a decidedly different summer. But I think that also I think that we're going down the drain fast. And who knows what the state of the world would be in 3 or 4
monogamy?
summers. No, just like, period. Wars, violence, racism, sexism. I think, monogamy's almost done, bro. Listen, we need to make that its own thing. But listen, I've had quite a few relationships that have determined for me that it was done. And I know that a lot of my friends who are married, their wives are constantly saying, I want to have an open relationship. And my friend's like, I can't do that. And I'm like, listen, man, her saying that to you is her way of letting you know that she'll cheat legally or illegally. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. She's telling you she wants it open because she wants to fuck someone else. She's giving you the option to stay in the relationship if you want. She's letting you know that she still wants to prioritize your relationship, but she wants to fuck.
I think a better this would be my spin on it. So what that sounds like is that she still values the emotional connection that and the security that you get, but that the physical intimacy is lacking, and she can get that somewhere else, and she just wants to do it in a way that's
somewhat healthy,
understanding that both people can come to an agreement and understanding.
Yeah, and I can understand people maybe not wanting to subscribe to it, but I'm letting you know, and it goes the same for women. If your man comes to you and says, "I think we should open up," it's because he wants to open something up. Now, if you don't agree with it, you want to drop end the thing there, word. That's that. But just so you know, it is what it is. That's a warning shot when people do that. People say that in a relationship. It's, listen, I'm gonna do this, but I'd rather do it and not feel like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also understand that that's going to be a model that a lot of people can't subscribe to because, man, you got to be confident to have someone that you care about maybe getting it better on the side.
There's one thing for trust in a monogamous relationship. There's a whole nother level of trust that comes along with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's foreign to people, but people need to understand that this is a lot of our parents were doing this shit in the 70s. They won't tell you the stories, but there were key parties, man.
See the Ice Storm, 1997.
Yeah. Oh, really see the Ice Storm because
a movie based on 1970s suburban hedonism.
It never went well, but they all tried it.
Yep.
But my point is I think the world is shifting. I do. I think the world is shifting. I think we're going to be seeing.
Can we go back to the Ice Storm for a second?
Yeah.
You know what I love about that movie is you had Sigourney Weaver, you had Kevin Kline. So they're in an adulterous relationship, cheating on their spouses. And then they want to do the key game, the most stereotypical suburban hedonism thing you can do.
Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah, you pick random keys, and that's who you're going to go hook up with.
Yep.
And so originally they decided that's our way to do it openly, and it would be acceptable. And then she gets the key, or she chooses the key of the 18-year-old guy, which lets him know, no, I found something better.
Yeah.
Yep. But what happens is, I believe it's her husband and his wife.
Don't they flip out?
They get the keys, and so they kind of end up together. But most of that time is I don't feel comfortable with this.
Yeah, talking.
And then they finally attempt it, and then finally the husband's like, "This is wrong."
Yeah.
Mid
coitus.
Yeah. Thank you for putting it like that. Mid coitus. Yeah, and it's just right there. It's like, wow. And this was the 70s. And it's real. I mean,
and it's circling back.
Like the stereotype of swingers.
Yeah.
I don't mean the movie Swinger. I mean actual swingers.
Yeah.
Where you hear the stereotypical things like they put the upside down pineapple or whatever outside their door of an ornament, which lets the whole community know that swingers. We're
down
swingers
the fuck.
We're going to take a break. We're going to play a song. We will just dive right in. Welcome to the Odyssey as always, everybody. I have a story about swingers that kind of relates to this from about 15 years ago. From I was probably like 22. So a bunch of my friends lived in Wareham. For people who don't know, Wareham is it's like one of the last towns before you're officially on the Cape.
Yeah, it's kind of hood too.
Yeah. Brockton by the Sea.
Yep.
Yeah. But we were there. We were all out. We were in our early 20s. We're all out drinking, having a good time. Everybody was pretty much single. And we met up with this couple who lived in Onset, which is right next to
Onset's
Wareham.
money too.
Yeah. So they asked us if we wanted to go back to their place. And when I say this, Rem, I mean legit. We were rolling like 7 or 8 people deep.
Yeah.
This was just a couple who we just met and we were all friendly with. And so
run a train on my wife.
There were so for people who don't know, like Rem, like me, like that, like hedonism and all that stuff, that is not my thing. It's cool. If that's your thing, it's cool, but it's not my thing. Like, okay, there were people like that who were like me. There were people that were in a relationship, and there were people who were very free spirited. And one of them was this female, and I love her because she's like a guy.
Yeah,
like you could hang out with her like one of the guys.
Yeah,
and then she liked to fuck.
That
with
usually,
one of the guys.
when you can hang out with like one of the guys, that usually means they suck good dick.
Yeah, but and I'm not saying that we hugged her or anything, but
no, I get it.
I mean, like I could go out to a bar and we could just literally like
chill.
Like, yeah, or she could be like, "Hey, you want to fuck around with this guy who's trying to hit on me and I'm not really interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Word, yeah.
And then there's other times where it's just like, "Oh yeah, come on the dance floor with me and like let's have fun." But anyway, so we go back to this house. And they had a margarita, like one of those margarita buckets.
Yeah.
So So we're all just like,
you guys got to know what red flags are, dude.
Well, in hindsight, it's always 2020. So anyway, I want to let you know, like back then, I could drink alcohol. Like I could.
Bob, yeah, I get it.
So I was I had a buzz. Because we had been drinking so long that I started to wind it down. Because I'm also a creature of habit. I like to sleep at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I will sober up so I can come home.
Yeah.
So I get my cup and I'm drinking from it, and all of a sudden, like I get really drunk. Like I can just feel it. I can just feel it coming on. I'm done drinking at that point.
Bro, they had things in the liquor.
And I start to kind of watch the room. And
I don't like this story.
People are starting to nod off, except for that friend of mine who's like a guy. And I see her, like the couple, and I see kind of what's going on. And so I literally nudge someone, and I'm like, let's go outside and have a cigarette. And so, like, they're just like, oh, yeah, what's going on? Like, and I have this one friend, downers don't work for him.
Yeah,
they have the opposite effect. So he's going like hyper. So I'm like, this is someone I've smoked marijuana with, and like it doesn't mellow them out. Like they get hyper and all that. And I'm seeing him, and I'm like, okay, I have all the evidence I need now. Okay, so we're outside, and I'm like, dude, these are swingers. I'm like, and normally I'd be cool with it.
They're drugging
but they drugged us. They're drugging us, and I'm like, look around. Like,
everyone's like this.
Yeah. And he kind of was like, oh yeah, and I'm nodding for people who can't see, obviously. But he's like, yeah. So I start waking people up. And then I'm just, at first, I'm very subtle, like, we got to go. Fuck. We all got to go. And so people kind of like, oh, yeah, well, most of them are like, yeah, I'm really tired. And it's like, oh, no, shit. But then I approached the girl, and I'm just like, yeah, we're going to go. And she's even like, all right, that's cool. And so we're like leaving, and the couple's like, oh, you guys don't have to leave. It's cool. And so I'm like, no, we're gonna go. And my favorite thing that I remember from this, and this is an inside joke that my friends that were there and I have, is the girl was like, but I was gonna do pancakes in the morning. We're gonna do pancakes, all that. And I said, you can still do pancakes. We're just not gonna be here.
Yeah. And
so we get into the cars, and the girl's in the car with me, and she's just like, those people were nice. What were you doing? And I'm like, those people were swingers, and if that's cool, if you were cool with it. And she was kind of like, it kind of looked like it was bringing that up. I'm like, yeah, but they were like drugging us all, and we were all getting like knocked out. You didn't notice that? And she was like, no. And I said, yeah.
You wake up with someone inside you, bro.
Yeah. And I said, that's fine, but that's kind of fucked up for the rest of us that were just getting knocked out. And she kind of had this moment like where she was like, so the face she made was like she's thinking about it, and then she was kind of like,
oh shit.
Well, no, she went the other way.
Oh, she would have done it. Yeah, no, some people, man. Yeah. But I just agree. If someone's drugging you, fuck that. They're not trying to have consensual sex with you.
No, that's messed up. And that's the only time that's ever happened in my life, and I'm glad. But I'm glad I could be there to kind of be the voice of reason for people and be like, nah, we're gonna get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's good and bad. My point of that story is that there's good and bad.
Yeah, of course.
To that kind of lifestyle, and that still exists to this
day. I think it's going to become a lot more prevalent again just because, but I don't know. If the end result is that people are going to get healthier not being in relationships that are toxic or take too much from them, then so be it. I think at our age, me and Bob, when summer comes, it's kind of like, it's not what it is to other people. It's
sweet. I get to mow the lawn.
Yeah, and I get to sweat more when I'm working. That's the thing. But I also think, like I said at the start of this, I kind of want to be more hedonistic just because I think we don't have much time left on this ride. I think it's going really poorly and it's going really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'll be honest. At the end of the day, I think that I'm more like Bob. Like, I like being in relationships. I like being committed. I like having that person to like chill and watch Netflix with. But the kind of humans I attract myself to are not the best for me. I think I'm pretty shallow. I like pretty things in my army. It's like the prettiest snakes are always the most poison, though,
Ooh, the black mamba.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like, black widows with that beautiful diamond on their back that essentially means don't fuck with me, So I bought a black widow specimen this year. It's dead, but it's in like a specimen jar and shit. And I keep that on my desk now to remind myself when I'm talking to if I'm talking to one that's too pretty or just too kinky. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's going to steal all my hoodies and try to make me knock her up.
Do you remember how the hedonistic and kind of exhibitionist and swingerish, or however you want to put it, how the game changed with social media? And what I really mean by that is AIM. AOL Instant Messenger.
I started instantly sleeping with fucking porns. Dude, social media changed everything if you knew how to use it. I came up a writer when suddenly the world presented this to me. Listen, I'm sitting there one day and the world's like, hey, Rem, do you think that you could pick up any girl in the world if you could write to her instead of approaching her? And I'm like, I could probably pick them up if I approach them because I'm kind of a cocky dick.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're telling me I can do a blind approach with prose or jokes or poetry or something, it's a done game for me. And then MySpace came, and I was like, holy shit. And that was definitely, without a doubt, my most deviant run was MySpace when it started. Having like suicide girls come over, and then having like a mall come over. And then, but the problem was, at that time, I wasn't being as, okay. You're not supposed to, if 100 girls are attracted to you, don't sleep with 100 girls. Just don't, because there's going to be a few in there that are probably decent that you could pair off with, but if you're just if you're Good Luck Chuck and you're just dropping the dick down to everybody, it doesn't work, and I think that was my problem initially is I was like, because I had just come out like a few years earlier out of my toxic relationship. So I was like, oh my God, I can have normal relationships and have tons of sex, but yeah, it's funny because I never thought that would swing back again. And it was what it was. It was a good time for me. I enjoyed it. I didn't play anybody. I never told anybody that I'd commit or this and that. But you're right. It was a new sexual revolution for our people.
Yeah. When I go back to AIM, I have this vivid memory of this because you know how you could look up people's profiles.
Yeah.
Even if So I would get a lot of people, men and women. I don't necessarily mean sexual or all that. But this one time, I got this this girl. I was probably about 18 or 19, and I was in the middle of having an AIM chat with one of my friends.
Want a cyber?
Not even that. So her name was Fallen Angel.
Of course it was.
Red flag number one.
Right.
She is, in hindsight, I know now because of work and life experiences.
She's a dude.
No. She is a sexually reactive female. And what I mean by that, because she then comes out and tells me that she is an emancipated 15-year-old. So for people who don't know what that means, she got emancipated from her parents, which means she's now her own guardian.
And just so you know, when they do that, they have to have some form close to a new guardian, and usually it's the person that's fucking them.
Yeah. So she, this young woman was telling me all this. So I mean, the other red flag is you're very open with me, very cavalier with me, some random stranger on AOL Instant Messenger. So my mind goes to one of two places. It's true, I'm taking her for what her word, or I'm how to catch a predator. I'm trying to.
That's why I said she's a dude.
Someone's trying to how to catch a predator.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm just being myself, and I have found in my life that can get me into trouble, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
That I'm just being genuinely who I am, but I'm carrying on the conversation. I'm not feeding into the sexual stuff. It's coming out. And I'm just like, oh, well, I'm I'm emancipated because I was molested. It's like, oh, I'm terribly sorry. It's to hear that. And then it's like, so this person like did the AOL friend thing so that when I would come on, they would see me. This thing occurred over times and I would just be polite, but they started sending me photographs that made me uncomfortable. So I just like,
yeah.
Okay.
And now keep in mind, that would circle back to you because you were the adult. That's why it's like,
yep.
I was always pretty good with that stuff, like just because there was a real, I guess it was the time To Catch a Predator and stuff too. So it was really like,
hi, I'm Chris Hansen.
Yeah,
like,
hey, grab a seat. Yeah. It's like, hey, Chris, you want some pizza? But yeah, it was weird because I used to get that want a cyber, and like, huh? And then one day you figure it out. You're like, oh, these are definitely like adult men just trying to talk to you. You know what I mean? Yep. So I learned that pretty quick.
That also gets me into what was it? What did I used to call them? My fake friends.
Yeah, no, that's
like
what it is.
On MySpace.
Yeah, of course.
Where you could you would get a friend request on MySpace, and with this beautiful woman, if you click on the profile, it's just all like dudes.
Yeah, listen. The other thing that sucks about MySpace, it was the invention of the thirst trap. Thirst trap being the girl who posts semi-nudes or very provocative things to get hundreds and thousands of reactions. And before MySpace, that didn't exist. Now every girl on TikTok and Instagram is over-sexualized. So, unfortunately, but I'll be the first one to say, man, that it was my sexual revolution. Like, I was just fucking everybody, you know?
Yep.
But, again, man, if everything's consensual between people and people are adults and shit, live your best life.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Everyone kind of functions differently. I think more people would like to have functioning long-term relationships than would admit it. But...
with caveats.
Yeah, of course. But also you have to, things cycle and change, man. And if now is the time for a new relationship model to be birthed, we might not all like it. We might not all agree with it, but it feels like it's happening, you know?
Yep. It's like most things. Kind of going big picture here, but
yeah.
The adults or the people in charge in a society can try to contain it the best they can, but
you can't.
It's futile.
Yeah, subcultures are their own movements, you know?
It's futile, and depending on the movement and the momentum it gets, it'll become the norm.
And the thing that's interesting, right, is like we're talking about cyclical life. And so, let's judge it like this. Super conservatism, 50s and 60s. 70s, you start the model of wife swapping and open relationships. But then in the 80s... there's kind of a push back against that again where it's like, let's be families.
Reaganism.
Yeah, 100%. Let's be families. Yep. So what that means is if it's swinging right back now to the ultra, like just liberal, like everyone fuck who they want, it's going to be cyclical again. And within 5 years, a lot of the women are going to be like, all right, I'm bored of selling my nude pictures. And a lot of guys are going to be like,
But the thing we have to remember as United States citizens too is that we still live in a society where it's based upon these archaic values.
Traditions.
Christian
values.
Yeah. I was going to say that and puritanical.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing that really kind of I shake my head at, I'll smile, I'll be like, I'll snicker and I'll do that is it's to me, it's just oxymorons. Like, it's where it fits your, either that's what you want to portray or you truly believe that, but can you vouch for everybody else that you would consider a confidant?
Yeah.
If it's your husband, if it's your wife, if it's your nuclear family, if it's your congregation, if it's your, it's the community you live in. Can you vouch for all these people?
The nuclear family thing cracks me up because it's like, how true did that term become? Because it's just blown up and doesn't exist anymore.
You're right. But you know what? Those people we were just talking about are just, holding on with dear life.
Oh, of course.
And forcing it down society's throat. It's the thing I never get because, and I'm going kind of off topic here a little bit, but
it's a loose day.
Yeah, but we have people who want to hold on to traditional values and all that, and yet they don't want to acknowledge that those traditional values that they want to hold on to have negative aspects to them.
They're dead models.
Like racism, the blatant racism and discrimination that can come along with some of those. Oh, but we moved past that. We don't have a racist society. We do.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Listen,
it's just evolved. It's more subversive racism. Sometimes over racism.
Yeah, it's not over. That's the thing too. And I don't know, man. I guess there was a time when the life we have now, I thought was like 50 years away, but it's here now.
Yeah.
And if you look at like I said, if you look at it as cyclical, I guess everything will kind of swoop back to normalcy again, but I wouldn't expect that anytime soon, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if the modern relationship sort of ideal blueprint was done, at least the way that we've done it, because I think a lot of us are like, well, that didn't work out. You know, you have the couples that keep having babies or buy a house together even though they hate each other because they think that's going to help, you know? And it's like, I don't know.
It's that like
put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Yeah, I know so many people that like quote unquote stay together for the kids, or you know, if we just buy a home and the home is fantastic and we just do all this thing, and it's like, yeah, that's a great image, but what's going on behind the image?
Yeah, you listen. You can.
We're getting into some blue velvet shit right there.
You can. Well, I was gonna say you can throw some certain chemicals into a flame and make it blue, but it's still a fucking flame and it's still gonna burn everything. So,
yep.
You know.
It's just a pretty flame.
It's a pretty way to go.
It's a pretty burn.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, don't fuck the world. It sounds, it's, you know, it's.
But Rem, do we have enough time?
It sounds defeatist, but I don't know. I guess it seems like we're circling a drain. Yeah, the best thing you can do is find good people, you know, have a good circle as everything circles the drain. But yeah, man.
What I love about, if you want to talk about like social circles, what I love about my social circle is that there's people all over the place as far as values and ideologies and all that. And the great thing is that majority of us, we respect our differences.
Well, that's because we grew up in the 90s.
But we'll discuss them.
Yeah.
And we don't get in our feelings. Now, some people do sometimes, but because we're such good friends, we just all like mock them and make fun of them. But we do it to their face.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We do it to their face, and then we just let them know, like, it's fine. Like, I'm doing it in a manner where, guess what? It's okay. Like, you can make fun of me too. You can make fun of me too.
I don't agree with you, but I hear you, and you're allowed to say that. You know?
Yeah. Sorry, I think of a conversation I had with a friend recently where it was just, I mean. Like literally, it was over a game of cornhole, also known as bags, where they were talking shit about how I was doing poorly, and then I just openly was critiquing like how if somebody were to drop a bag right in front of the hole, the person didn't know how to play, and then it played out, and then we all just laughed about that.
I should love that.
And they got quiet. Yeah, they got quiet.
The whole universe is like, all right.
And I said, yeah, you got quiet because you know I'm right.
Bob always has to talk about his cornhole.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna duck out because I'm sweating to death. Sorry, guys. That got weird. Yeah, I'm just sweating. I have to take these headphones off. Hey, I love all you guys. Thanks for listening to our weird-ass show.
All right, everybody. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for this episode today. As always, this Odyssey is coming to a close. So until the next time, we're going to wow and relax. And we hope you tune back in again for the next time. Again, you can always reach out to us. Our contact info is on the website. You can reach out to us by email, Facebook, or TikTok.
Send nudes.
Maybe not to me though. But yeah, anywho, okay, take care, everybody.